What's happening, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Wednesday, wherever you're tuning in from. I was about to say happy evening, whatever. Happy good morning, afternoon, evening, all of that stuff. And happy Manchester United have accepted West Ham's bid for Harry Maguire Day. You guys already know what it is. You already know what it is. Of course, I had to go live today because a few days ago we did a stream talking about, potentially West Ham swooping in to take Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. And earlier today, there was news that Manchester United had accepted West Ham's bid for £30 million for Harry Maguire. So we're going to get a little bit into that, and I want to hear, of course, everybody's thoughts and opinions on that. I know I'm calling him Harry, but his name's actually Jacob. I know a lot of people are not keen on him, they're not fond of him, but I want to know what you guys think about this transfer. If you guys think he will do well at a club like West Ham, an interesting back four partnership they actually have there. But Jacob, Harry Maguire, looks like he's out of the door of Manchester United. And just about 2 weeks ago, on a pre-season tour in America, Erik ten Hag sat down in front of journalists and he was asked a question about Harry Maguire. I'm just laughing because I saw the clip again today. He was asked a question about Harry Maguire and he said, his exact words was, Harry Maguire is part of my plans here this season. That is funny. That is hilarious. But we already know Ten Hag, hitman settings. He'll say one thing and do another. Big up everyone in the chat as always. Shout out to Keegan. Big up to Kristen. Big up to Austin. Says, hey yo, Mina, big up. Going to be talking about Jacob. You already know what it is. Jacob Maguire settings right here. We got a bit to discuss, and of course, I want to talk about the alternatives for Harry Maguire, for Jacob. Sorry. United will be bringing in a centre back, and there's quite a few of us. There's quite a few players, that United are interested in. So we're gonna look at it, and I'm gonna tell you guys which one I prefer actually, and then I want to hear what everybody else prefers. Big up to Siddharth, says hello Mina. Maggie is gone. He looks like he's on the way out. Big up to Kirsten, says he'll do well at West Ham, but he's definitely scoring against us. Listen, James Ward-Prowse, Harry Maguire, if they take Scott McTominay, Kurt Zuma, that's a lot of height. That is a lot of height. If he scores against us at Old Trafford, and then runs to like the Stretford end like this, I can't even be mad. I would actually just laugh. Big up to Cab, says hello Mina, big up. I will prefer Pavard as a replacement. Mina, what's the code for your FPL league and what's the prize if someone finishes first? Great content, keep it up. The code is right here, just right above me on this side. I can just never get used to it, guys. Right above me there, that is the code, and the prize for first place will be a games console. That's the price. But good luck to winning, because there wasn't many people in the league. There was about 12 to 15 people in the league, and then I tweeted the league, the code, and the link to my channel. Of course, the only rule is you have to be subscribed to the channel, and then I think about a good 30-40 people join. So whoever wins that league, all the best of luck to you. Big up to Axe, says hey people. Big up to Eric, says Queen Mina. Lil Yo-Yo says yo Yaqub is out of here. If you guys don't know, Yaqub is the Muslim or the Arabic version of saying Jacob. Big up to Jacob Maguire. He looks like he's out of the building. We're of course going to go into detail about that. He says, should we sue Atalanta for selling us damaged goods? I think that's another conversation for itself, regarding Rasmus Højlund's injury. Of course, it seemed like Man United did know when his medical was happening that he was carrying a little back injury. And now it looks like he's probably, I think Ten Hag said that they're eyeing his debut to probably be around or after the Arsenal game. So that's like the third, fourth game of the season, and that's actually just before international break in September. I don't know, man. I got a lot to say about that, but of course we've got a lot to talk about, and in particular Jacob Maguire, because I feel like there's quite some stuff to talk about, especially more so on the replacement side. I know, guys, a lot of you lot do not like Harry Maguire. You're not fond of him. Never been fond of him. But I think am I the only person that feels like slander might be the slander that he gets is sometimes a bit over the top. And I might have been guilty of this in the past, where, he's come on the pitch, made an error, and I've been a bit critical of him. But sometimes I see what is said about him in videos, articles, all of that kind of stuff. And sometimes I'm a bit confused, because I think sometimes it's a bit over the top. Now, I want him to go to West Ham, and I want him to do good enough. Obviously, not good enough to make West Ham a competitor, but I don't want him. Is it bad if I say that I don't want him to do too well? Because then people will be like, oh, Manchester. And when I say people, I mean pundits, commentators, journalists, whatever, might start doing think pieces about him, how he should have stayed at Manchester United and how they didn't give him a chance and he was a scapegoat, all of that. But I do think his criticism is a bit over the top sometimes. I think he's good enough to play football, just maybe not at Manchester United level. When we were bad, he was a good player because we were so poor. But when we are better, he clearly stands out as an issue. Siddarth, big up to Siddarth, says, Todibo or Pavard, why not both? We're going to go into that because talking about Pavard, I might be the very few people that is not keen on him. I might be one of the few people that might not be that keen on Pavard. I've watched him enough, I've researched him enough, and I've read enough about him to know or to have an opinion like that. Siddarth also says Martial resuming training might be his departure. Yeah, that's an interesting one. But there's a baby just crying right outside my window. It's different to what I'm used to in terms of the sirens. But bam, guys, we got some picture here quickly. Quick time. It's really distracting me. They're standing right under my window, guys. Right under my window. But if you guys are not aware, Manchester United have been linked. I thought it was your baby. That's not my child. It's a child outside of my window. That's Ollie crying. But if you guys are not aware, Manchester United are linked to 3 alternatives for Harry Maguire. I did say that I wanted Castello Luque, but this was earlier in the transfer window. I remember saying it. Of course, he's a left-sided centre-back, so I don't think we would go for him as a target. And I have seen today that he's actually reported to go and join RB Leipzig. Sorry about that, guys. There's a lot of noise congestion whenever I'm on stream, guys. I don't know what it is. It's like people know that I'm on stream and suddenly it's bam. You want to cry outside my window, beep outside my window, rev your motorbike outside my window, sirens outside my window. What's next? Soon, you know, it's going to be November. There's going to be fireworks. It's crazy. But on the 3 people that United have been linked to, and it's very funny because none of these 3 were suggested as centre-backs at the beginning of the transfer window. If you lot remember, we were linked to Kim Min-jae and we were linked to, obviously, Axel Disasi. And neither of these 3 were actually shortlisted. Maybe they were on the list of like 5 or 10 people, but the main 2 people I remember us being linked to was Axel Disasi and Kim Min-jae. Axel Disasi being the alternative if we didn't get Kim Min-jae, which apparently we had agreed terms with and all of that stuff. Ended up going to Bayern Munich. It is what it is. It's funny now that we might be doing Bayern Munich a favour by signing Benjamin Pavard. Now, I've actually ranked them. If you lot can see on the picture there, yeah, if you lot can see the picture there, I've ranked them in terms of who would be my number 1, my number 2, and my number 3. And I've done so after these are 3 defenders that I've been, look, there you go, guys, sirens. So we've had a baby crying, we've had a motorbike, and now we've had sirens in the space of 8 minutes. It says a lot. It says a lot. But I am leaning towards Edmund Tapsoba. I hope I said his name right. I always seem to mispronounce it. Plays at Bayer Leverkusen for me. And the reason why I'm leaning more towards him, because I'm thinking, who would be the best replacement for Rafael Varane? B, who would complement and work well with Lisandro Martinez? That's number 2. And number 3, I think out of all of them, who has the highest ceiling? I'm not going to sit here, give stats and per 90 this, per 90 that, because you guys already know that I'm always more keen on eye test, having your opinion based on that. You can put in stats as well, but and I also think sometimes per 90 doesn't reflect well with like defensive players. I think it's better for like forwards and goal scoring and all of that kind of stuff. But the reason why Benjamin Pavard for me is number 3 out of the list is because we are building a team, which obviously Erik ten Hag is building a team that's going to compete for the next 3 to 4 years. Everyone we've signed this window so far is in their mid-ish 20s, if not early 20s. Benjamin Pavard is 27, meaning he's only 2 years younger than Rafael Varane, guys. He's only 2 years younger. Bear in mind, Rafael Varane retired from international football to focus on his club football because it's too demanding in terms of the number of games that you're playing and all of that stuff. Benjamin Pavard still playing at senior level as well. he is, and I know this, guys, please hear me out before you guys jump on me for this. He's the shorter out of the three, and you guys are probably wondering, why am I mentioning height? Because the height doesn't really matter, I think, when you're playing as a centre-back, especially, you know, we've seen with Lisandro Martinez how much he's been butchered, no pun intended, but how much he was butchered coming into last season about his height. I feel like you need to have a short defender and a taller defender. That's my personal opinion. I think right now, with Rafael Varane being so good in the air, Lisandro Martinez still being good in the air, even at his shorter height compared to Rafael Varane, I feel like we're losing a lot of height. Diogo Dalot is probably... he's all right in the air. Wan-Bissaka is decent in the air, not great. We need someone who's tall, physical in the air. And I feel like Benjamin Pavard is a little bit of that. But out of the three, from what I've watched, he's not as good. He's not as good as the other two. Another guy that we're linked to, but I haven't put him there because I just think it's not going to happen, is Mark Guéhi from Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace will probably give us a stupid quote. And, you know, it would be nice, you know, Prem proven, all of that kind of stuff. But that's why I put Benjamin Pavard third. Now, for me, number one, Edmund Tapsoba, in my opinion. Imagine, guys, he will be, and I know this is me just being sentimental, yeah, but he will be the first ever player from Burkina Faso to play for Manchester United, I think, ever. I could say things like my centre-back's Burkinabe, I think it's pronounced like that, and my goalkeeper's Cameroonian. I don't think I could have ever said that in any time supporting Manchester United. But let me not get sentimental. I think the first thing for me, the most important thing, is he is got 1 year left on his contract, which means Bayer Leverkusen will be looking to offload him. They will be looking to offload him and make money. I think they've just sold Diaby to Villa as well, so they'll be looking to get some more business in through the door, so that they can also strengthen as well. I think he's a good ball-playing centre-back from what I've seen, from what I've researched, from the videos that I watched. I watched him a bit last season in Europa League. He's good at keeping the ball, and he's not only just a ball-playing centre-back, but he's a good... I was going to say ball tackling, but that doesn't even make sense. He's a good ball winner as a defender, and I think that's two key traits to have in Erik ten Hag's system. He's a good 1v1 defender, very... I don't want to say physical and all of that stuff, but... one defender he was compared to a lot, I remember last season, was Vardiol. Vardiol obviously was the better out of the two, but to be compared as second best to him kind of sets the precedent in terms of what kind of player he is. Great passing, not just, I think, in the air, because Lisandro Martinez is very good at that, but he's great at playing balls on the ground, which I think is very important for fast movement. When you're playing out of a press quickly, I think when you're on the counter-attack quickly, the fact that I've seen it quite often by Leverkusen, were able to switch the ball to him, and he was able to, bam, pinpoint pass across the pitch to start counter-attacks. And I think Manchester United would really benefit from that. Having two ball-playing centre-backs, I think, is key. Luke Shaw as a left-back, great on the ball. Diogo Dalot's all right. I don't think he's the best right back on the ball, but he's definitely better than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So that's why I say that I lean more towards Tapsoba. Big up to Sidaf, says, let me see this comment in full, sorry, says, maybe it's going to be to Debo, others are just to show Nice that we have options, similar to what we did with Onana, Mount, Rasmus, helping with negotiations. It could be. I think Nice have actually been selling quite a few players, having strengthened one bit. I think their owner is too occupied with the Manchester United takeover stuff, so I think their owner's not been too busy with transfers and all of that kind of stuff. So maybe we could just slip in and steal a centre-back nice and easy. Would I be against Todibo? No. Obviously, I made it clear that Tapsoba is my preference. I just think he's a very good player. I think they've got... I actually think they've got similar price tags. Well, I don't know, actually. Let me not say they got similar price tags, because I think what Bayer Leverkusen are looking at is like 25-30 million for Tapsoba. In comparison to Debo, who Juve actually wanted to buy him earlier in the summer, in the window, and they had a 35 million transfer fee quoted to them. Now, if Juve are quoted 35 million for Todibo, guys, get it in the chat how much you think Manchester United will be quoted. How much do you think Manchester United will be quoted for Todibo? If Juve have been quoted 35, I think United tax, we're getting quoted 50. we are probably getting quoted 50 million. Does Tapsoba actually play for Burkina Faso? Yes, he does. I think he played in AFCON a couple of years ago when Burkina Faso actually qualified. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he plays. And that's why I like him. I'm joking. No, I don't want people to think that I only want him because he's African. I think he's a great player. And I think age plays into it as well. Obviously, like I said, Benjamin Pavard is 27. The others are 23, 24. If we're going out and offering a 5-year contract when we sign them, 4-year, 5-year, 6-year, whatever it is, then you want, I think the younger the better. I don't want to be an ageist. I don't want you guys to accuse me of being an ageist, but I think the younger the better. We'll be building for the future. Big up to Dean, says, hi, just joined. What have I missed? You ain't missed much. Just us talking about Jacob, Harry Maguire leaving, and obviously the alternatives to that. It's gone quiet with midfield talk, guys, if I'm being honest. I think, from what I know, a lot of it has gone quiet because of this Harry Maguire transfer, all of that kind of stuff. And also because it's a lot more ahead in terms, it's a lot more advanced. That transfer is a lot more advanced in comparison to Fred and Van der Beek. Negotiations still ongoing there. So it looks like we are more likely to have a centre-back come in after Rasmus Højlund than we are to have a midfielder. But that doesn't mean we won't be getting a midfielder. Big up to Dean, says, is it too late for Kane? I don't know if Kane stays at Tottenham Hotspurs, guys. Am I crazy to say that we could actually maybe go for him on a free next year? Am I crazy to say that? I think he's going to be, 30, 31? If we go get him on a free for like 2 years, 3 years. Because I do think he's going to stay at Tottenham. I don't see him going to Bayern. Big up to Cabs, says, Mina, do you think Harry will do well at West Ham? I don't think he will. I think Italy or Spain would have worked for him. It's very funny, guys, that the Declan Rice money has been spent on Harry Maguire. I'm not pocket watching, by the way, but it's been spent on Harry Maguire, James Ward-Prowse, and whoever else they go for. I've seen that Manchester City are interested in bidding for Paqueta, and I will be so mad if he goes to Man City, guys, because that chant that they made for him, just sold my car to Lucas Paqueta, that is, if you're from the UK and you know where that song actually comes from, it's from an advert, it's too catchy. That is too catchy, and I'll be very sad if Paqueta actually goes. But if Paqueta does go, they could get 70 million for him. They've got nearly 175 million in the bank to spend on basically their little rebuild over there. They could still get McTominay. I think he could do well. I'm not too sure. Backline of Kurt Zouma, Naif Agard. It's very interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see. That's all I have to say. Big up, Mina. Big up to yourself, Everhone. Thank you for joining. Shout out to Pyramid Scheme, says, big up the chat and Mina. Fraud of frauds, liar. You are a liar. You are an actress. Guys, when I get my soundboard, game over. That's all I have to say. If Sir Jim loves United, he'd give us Tadibo for less than 30 million. 100%. You know what? They should say that should be part of the negotiations. If you love Manchester United as much as you claim, and you want to put the Manchester back in Manchester United, and you want them to go back to the top, and you want them Champions League football, and all of that stuff, give us Tadibo for 10 million. Give us Tadibo for 10 million if you're really, really about it. According to sources, Pavard being a versatile player gives him an edge. I know that he can play right back as well, so it will be interesting with United. It's very interesting because I feel like I'm very excited to see how we set up like for the Premier League in fixtures. I'll be doing a prediction stream tomorrow where I'm not going to predict it. I don't like to predict the season and who wins and all of that stuff. But what I will talk about is expectations for the season. Obviously, Premier League starts in 2 days' time. Can't believe I'm saying that. But it will be interesting to see because if we play Pavard as a right centre back, the fact that he can play as a right back as well will allow Diogo Dalot to play a lot more inverted, where we're basically playing as a back three, and I could see that happening. Austin Baker says 55. I guess that's in reference to what Nice would quote us for Tadibo if Juve bidded 35. No, they didn't bid actually. They were quoted 35 and apparently they walked away from the deal. So that's the reason why that they walked away from the deal. Big up to Koala, says thoughts on the away kit and Roy Keane announcing it. I think that's the third kit. it's clean, it's nice. Obviously, it looks a bit. I don't know about the ad, but I think the ad gets across the message of the motto of the club and all of that kind of stuff. I like football shirts, guys. If you guys didn't know, I like to collect football shirts every season. So any club that's released a shirt that I like, I really like. I have to really, really like it to get the shirt. I will get it. Here, this shirt here that I'm wearing right now, I don't think you lot can see it. It's the Japan anime kit. I think it's from 2021, I think it was, or 2020. And my nephew, guys, ripped me apart because he said to me, "You don't watch anime. Why are you wearing an anime football shirt?" I said, "I like the shirt." It's as simple as that. So I'm not like, I will probably. I seen Sporting Lisbon are their third kit is what's it called? Dedicated to Cristiano Ronaldo. I think it's a 20-year anniversary that he left. So it's dedicated to him, and it's got like the CR7 logo in the corner. I might get that one. It's a nice black and gold kit. I really like a few kits this season that I've seen. Monaco always got nice kits, I think, in my opinion. This is the first year that I actually like Man United. Two of Man United's kits. I like the home kit. It's grown on me, and I like the third kit. The away kit, I'm just not too sure about. I need to see it. I need to see it in flesh. I need to see it in real life before I have an opinion on that. But it's interesting that Roy Keane was actually part of the announcement, because I swear he hasn't worked with the club since he had beef with them in like 2005. If Kane stays, we can start sweet talking him from January. I think that's the rule. Yeah, so you can enter into talks with clubs starting from January, but obviously I don't think you can sign anything until later into the season. Actually, I think you can sign something in January to leave in the summer, as long as you notify your club that you're not staying with them. I will be very shocked, in my honest opinion, if Harry Maguire does leave. I highly, highly doubt that he will leave. I really think he wants to stay. Like, I've seen reports saying that he's really sold on, the new Tottenham manager and trust the process and all of that stuff. But he's not signing a new contract. And I think that says it all. If you're really dedicated to the cause, but you're not signing a new contract, I think he just doesn't want to maybe go to Bayern Munich for a couple of years and would rather stay in England. Obviously, I feel like he's chasing that record, the goal record, which is attainable in the next 3 to 4 seasons. Oh, Harry, sorry, did I say Harry Maguire? My bad, guys. I was meant to say Harry Kane. Harry Maguire is just at the forefront of my mind right now, because I cannot believe my eyes that he's actually leaving. Sorry, guys, I was meant to say Harry Kane. Yeah, so I think we could definitely sweet talk him, but we just have to wait and see. I feel Kane will go to Chelsea on a free to join back up with Poch. That's not a crazy thing to say. I mean, Nkunku is out until January, of course. Nkunku's out until January. They got that Nico Jackson guy, I think that's his name, Nicholas Jackson or something like that. Nobody has the number 9, so you might be onto something. They didn't give the number 9 shirt to anyone this season. If Poch has a decent time with Chelsea, getting him on a free, but his wages will just be mental. Like, we're talking like near enough 400, 450k a week. Chelsea can obviously afford that because they got endless money. Well, it looks like with Todd Bowley. So I think it's not a wild thing to say now that you say it. I kind of could hear that. Big up to Sidaf says Benjamin Pavard is expected to cost 30 million to 35, same price as Todibo. Now comes down to Ten Hag to choose who he wants. It seems like they're all around the same price tag, which is jokes, guys, because I genuinely feel like if this was any other time at Manchester United, I feel like we would have been getting quoted 50, 60 million. I was listening to a very interesting podcast today from Tifo, the Athletic, so it's called the Tifo whatever, and it was an episode about football finances, and it was basically explaining the ins and outs of amortization, how football clubs account for transfers, wages and all of that, because I saw a debate on social media today saying that Manchester United are basically making a profit from the Harry Maguire sell. And the reason why they're making a profit is because you amortize the cost of a transfer fee over the number of years of a contract. Harry Maguire joined on a 5-year contract, 6-year contract, I can't remember. for 80 million. So that 80 million would have been spread across the number of years of that contract. Now, because he's being sold in the new financial year, which starts 1st of July in football, for most football clubs. But Manchester United's financial year runs August to March, which is the UK tax year. Manchester United are basically making a profit in this year's financial accounts because they will account for the full cost of the transfer, i.e. the selling transfer that we've just made, 30 million. But what they would have recorded in this year's accounts is the whatever 17 point something million, which is the amortized cost of the total transfer fee that we bought him for. So in layman's terms, on the financial statement, it would be 17 point something million, which is 80 million divided by the number of contract years that we signed him to initially, and then we'd have the full cost, which is it's actually a good alternative, I think, in football accounting and finance, where you're allowed to account for, when you sell someone, you can account for the full profit or the full transfer fee in that financial year you sell them, whereas when you buy someone, you can amortize the cost across the number of years of their contract, which basically means as long as you sell them for more than what the amortized cost is, you will make a profit. Let me just double check. He's on a 6-year contract, and we bought him for 80 million. He's on a 5-year contract. Sorry guys, excuse my lying. We got him on a 5-year contract. So we basically Manchester United would have reported around 16 million a year in the financial accounts from when we brought him every year. And because this year we're selling him in the new financial year for 30 million, and we would have amortized 16 million already in the new financial year, a straight line depreciation, whatever. As a result, they're making a profit of about 14 million in the year, which will be good on FFP. Now, I know a lot of people always wonder how does these financial stuff work. It doesn't make sense. We bought him for 80 million, we sold him for 30 million. How are we making a profit? In the financial year that you're reporting that transfer that you've sold him for, you are making a profit. Of course, across the accumulated amount of accumulated total, of 80 million, you are not making a profit. But what matters in FFP, especially in the Premier League, is 3 years. So basically, FFP here in the UK, it looks at 3 years of your financial statements. And within those 3 years, I think you can only have a total loss, I think it's like 105 million together in those 3 years. So, for example, because we're no longer impacted by the COVID years, I actually think that the FA or whatever, the Premier League, they allowed some little, what's the word? They gave some leverage to clubs during COVID, because obviously a lot of clubs were struggling because there was no match day revenue, all of that stuff. So I think they lifted the little variance that you're allowed, but now it's gone back to normal. So when at the end of, for example, guys, I'll give you a good example. At the end of this season that's starting now, 2023-24 season, what they're going to look at is the last 2 years plus this season's financial statement. As long as those 3 years accumulated is not, you haven't made more of a loss of 105 million, you're good to go. That's why it's very important for Manchester United to offload as many players as they can this window and make some money in this financial year, because everybody we let go of last season left on a free, meaning we did not get anything back. Paul Pogba, perfect example. We bought him for what? I think it was like 80-something million, 86 million pounds, I think it was base fee, 6-year deal. He left on a free. 86 divided by 6, I don't even know what that is. Let me just double check, because my maths is good, but it ain't that good. It's about 14.5 million. If we had just sold him in his last year for about 20 million, we would have made a profit in that year that we sold him. Meaning this financial new year, it would have included that profit that we would have made on the Pogba sale, but we didn't. So because we've let a lot of people last year leave on a free, it's very important that Man United sell a lot of people this window. And for example, I'll give you a good example. Another one is Eric Bailly, for example. He's expected to leave. I saw that he's actually expected to leave on a free transfer, which means Manchester United will probably terminate his contract. He's only got a year left on his deal. They'll probably terminate his contract. I got a better example, guys. This is a better example. Fred. You lot know I love Fred. Shout out to my boy Fred. He's going to leave. They're looking to get 15 to 20 million for him. Obviously, they're okay with getting him for 15 million. We brought him for what? 50 million on a 5-year deal, which means every financial year we had him, Manchester United were reporting 10 million in that financial year. That was the cost of having him each year. You don't just report 50 million in one year, otherwise everyone's financial accounts would be a mess. So because we were doing that every year, and they are trying to sell him before his contract finishes, because they will not make anything back next summer because he'll leave on a free. If we sell him for 15 million, and this is why they said, I don't know if you guys seen reports, Manchester United reportedly are okay with anything between 12 to 15 million because they just need more than 10 million to break even in the financial accounts this year, because they've amortized 10 million across each year since we brought him. So anything more than 10 million, they are good to go. And every penny counts, guys. For FFP, every penny counts. Sorry, I just went on a tangent there. But if you lot want to know more, I definitely recommend you listen to, let me check what the episode, it's the most recent episode on TIFO, and it's about football and finances. It was a very, very good one. Big up to Mike. Apologies for my lateness. It's all good. It's all good. Big up to Leo, says, damn, you good with this finance stuff? I'm okay with finance, guys. It's very, very, I'm okay. Big up to Palmerius. I appreciate that. The Athletic have a very good article explaining how FFP works. It's very insightful. It really is. And if you lot do, and I encourage you guys to read about it, because sometimes you just hear numbers, you hear FFP, you hear all of this stuff flying around, and sometimes it just doesn't make any sense. And they break it down in very simple terms. They give you examples, just like I did now. So I definitely recommend you to check it out. And I also found out, guys, if you guys are ever interested in actually knowing how transfers work, there's the finance side, but there's also the money side. Because I always used to think clubs would pay money up front, so I'm, the banker for Manchester United. So we just bought Andre Onana for 50 million euros. So I just log into my online banking and I send 50 million euros to Inter Milan. It doesn't normally work like that. There's always capital investment companies that work between the clubs, where the club A, in this term Manchester United, will borrow the 50 million from that capital investment company, and then that capital investment company, they will pay Inter Milan the 50 million, and then it's basically like a loan. Manchester United will then pay the capital investment company the 50 million over accumulated number of years plus interest, and that's how they all make money. So big ups to them. Is this not the last year for the COVID allowance in the budget? The financial year that just finished was the last year. Yeah, the financial year that just finished. So this year, everybody's books need to look good, which is why everyone's a bit more, I think, conscious of FFP. A lot more clubs are a lot more conscious of it. They're concerned about it. And also there's some clubs that have been chilling because they weren't spending, a lot of money in 2021 or 2020. So this financial year is giving them a bit more leverage. I know a lot of people, Arsenal is a good example. A lot of people talk about how have Arsenal been able to spend 200 something million, but they've just had their finances in place. And then now I think Manchester United, maybe this was their plan last year to spend all that money, and then this year I think their plan was to get their finances in order, i.e. selling people. I think last year Erik ten Hag probably came in knowing that they won't offload a lot of players for money. I think Murto, Arnold, all of them kind of knew they weren't getting money for people. So probably what they did is made a contingency plan for this season that just passed. Make a list of all the players that they know that they need to get rid of, how much they can get for them, and just, aim to just get as many, not just off the books, because you're saving money with salary, but also you need to get money in. I think that's the most important thing. When, for example, when Paul Pogba left, when Cristiano Ronaldo left, when Jesse Lingard left, I don't know if you guys remember, all we ever heard was, we're getting 20 million off the books, we're getting 30 million, we're saving this much in wages, we're saving this much in salary. But how does that actually impact the financial accounts of the company? I would actually go as far to say that it impacts you long-term wise, because, for example, the financial year that just passed, they saved 15 million because they didn't have to account for Paul Pogba's wages of 50. And by the way, I'm just making it up 15 million. But I'm just saying they didn't have to account for 15 million of Paul Pogba's wages in the new financial year once he left. However, because we lost him on a free, we accumulated the amortization over a number of years. And as a result, that would then impact their financial position in the following year, even though he had left. So sometimes when people say, we're saving this much in salary, I don't really hear it. I don't really hear it, because I feel like The amortization of a transfer fee has more financial impact on your statement than salaries do. Of course, salaries impact it, but I'm just saying it's better for you to try accumulate some sort of money from a transfer, because then it will balance out the amortization a bit more, rather than just depending on saving 1 or 2 or 3 years of a salary if they leave on a free. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo, says Mina is absolutely right. It's a money merry-go-round. Use someone else's money to pay for things. Use someone else's money to pay for things. Accumulate all the interest in the world and then go again. That's what the Glazers have been doing. But you know who else has been doing it? Barcelona. Barcelona is a perfect example. I think it's when they brought Coutinho from Liverpool. It was like 100-something million. They didn't have that money. They brought Griezmann a bit after. They didn't have that money. All these a lot of players that they've bought before they started triggering all those leveraging all those things last summer, they didn't have a lot of money, and they had reached a cap with all these capital investment companies to use their credit because they were not getting anything back. So they are a perfect example as that. Big up Football Power Hour, says big up Mina. Shout out to you. Hope you're having a wonderful evening. Big up to El Jamo, says the reason for high amount of transfers this season is the rules for football agents changes next year. Lazy year for them. Last year for them to cash in. I think that's one reason as well. That's definitely one reason. I think FFP is coming for a lot of people. And clubs have to find better ways to I won't say cook the books, but I'll say I won't say they have to find better ways to cook the books, but they have to make you got to make your accounts look a bit more interesting. And I think that's where Chelsea found a hack. Chelsea found a hack where they could give long-term contracts to people. As a result, amortize the transfer fee across a number of years, and then probably sell that person in a couple of years' times and make back some of that money and report a profit in whatever financial year they sell them. Chelsea found a hack, and now a lot of clubs are following it. So I'm not surprised. Big up Ben says, as long as you can pay it off, you can continue lending even larger amounts. 100% you can. I think the most important part is interest, because you're always going to accumulate interest on stuff. But if you're able to pay it off and they can see that you're able to pay it off, you'll be able to borrow money. And I think that's where Barcelona everything went downhill for them, because it got to a point where capital companies were starting to see that Barcelona couldn't really pay for what they were loaning. So it's like when you borrow money off, say not off a bank, but like if you borrow money off like one of your siblings or one of your relatives or something, if they can see that you keep paying them back every time you borrow it, they will continue to borrow you that money. But the second they see that you can't pay them back, or you're not paying them back, they're gonna stop borrowing you money. So that kind of says it all. The only time a salary makes a difference is guys like Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, especially if you let go of, I think if you lose a player mid-contract, I think that will help your financial accounts a bit more, especially if you're saving money. Whereas if you are actually paying them their entire contract out, then that's not looking good. Big up to Adam, says give Moisey a statue. I know Adam is one of the few people very not keen on Jacob Harry Maguire. Not a fan of him. I'm sorry on the tangent I just went on, guys. I just started talking about finance and football and all of that kind of stuff. Always been something I've been interested in. So I think it was just an interesting example to give you guys. Big up to Benz because he... Third time lucky. Big up to Benz. I wonder how much Maguire's wages will be at West Ham. West Ham are reportedly looking to give, I think it's 100k a week. He's on 190 right now at Manchester United, and reportedly that Manchester United are also looking to bridge that difference between the wages so that he goes. That's crazy. Manchester United are willing to pay the 90k difference between what West Ham want to pay him and what Manchester United are paying him right now, just so that he leaves. And that's why I said to you guys, back to the finance thing, it don't matter about wages and salaries all of the time, because that's a direct cost you're always going to incur on your P&L, i.e. profit and loss statement. Whereas in your non-current assets, where you put your intangible assets, i.e. football players are listed as intangible assets, and that's where they are amortized. You have to make as money as you need to report as much there as possible, which is why Manchester United are okay with paying that 90k difference, which is crazy to me. A club is basically telling you, I will pay you to leave. That's essentially what they're saying. They're saying you are you. They're basically saying to Jacob, if you lot don't know, like I said, Jacob is Harry Maguire's real name. They are basically telling Jacob, if you know, we want you to leave. We got a 30 million bid for you. They're gonna pay you 100k. We're gonna pay you the 90k difference, and you're basically gonna go. To me, that says a lot about you. And you know, we say big up to Moisey. Adam here says give Moisey a statue. Big up to Gareth Southgate, because if Gareth Southgate never grew some balls and said that he will give playing time, he's looking to basically cut Harry Maguire's playing time at England if he doesn't get any playing time this season. If he never said that, guys, we would not be sitting here having this conversation right now. So we're saying give Moisey a statue, give Southgate a statue outside of Wembley Stadium. He's a legend. He's a legend. To be honest, though, I shouldn't be saying that because he gassed up. I feel like he gassed Jacob a bit too much. I feel like he gassed him a bit too much to feel like, like you're this, you're that, you'll always be part of my team. If he said this last season, maybe Jacob would have left. Maybe Jacob would have left. Big up to Ben says, my life is a lie. Jacob? Yes, his name is Jacob Harry Maguire. It says it right here, guys. Look right there. Jacob Harry Maguire. That's his name, and I'm gonna call him by his name because that's his legit name. Bear Sirens in the chat, of course. Is that the FFP police? They're not coming for me, that's for sure. Gary Southgate had to tell him he can't play or he'd be slaughtered. True. I think people were starting to get a bit restless with the idea that other centre-backs, English centre-backs, were playing better, and Maguire was still getting his call up. Justice for my brother Tomori. Justice for him. If I was him, if he never, I think he's played one senior game. I think he's played it. He's got a senior cap for England. So I'm not too sure. I think he could still switch though. He should just go play for his home country of origin, in my opinion. That's what I believe. Calm down, Mina. Southgate deserves a slap, and that's all. Yeah, no, I'll give him a high five. That's it. I don't give him a statue, but I'll give him a high five. Big up to True Legion says, Mina, to Debo or Pavard. Neither. I want Tapsoba. And I'm going to bring the graphic back because it's right here. I want Tapsoba. This is how I've ranked who I would like. Benjamin Pavard for me, number 3. To Debo, number 2. Someone said it in the chat the other day saying, I can't. If it was you that said this, please come back because I just want to laugh again. Someone said, I can't trust someone called Claire to be a defender in Manchester United. And now, whenever I see Tadibo, that's the only comment that comes to my head. I don't think about how he plays. I don't think about, you know, his style of play. I don't analyze. I just think about the fact that his name is Jean-Claire. And I think about the person that said that they cannot trust someone called Claire to play in Manchester United's backline. But this is how I rank them. I've already given my reasons on why I would prefer Tapsoba. I think age is a big thing. Height is a big thing. I think ball playing ability, big thing. I think ball progression, 1v1 defending is a big thing. I think ball winning possession is a big thing. You know, passing ability, another key thing. Speed, the pace, all of that kind of stuff. I think 1v1 defending is the most important thing because Varane is good at that. Sandro Martinez is good at that, but also someone that's good in the air, I think is very, very important. So, and for that reason, and also he's got 1 year left. From what I've seen, they are all 3 of these. I keep pointing here and I'm wrong. All 3 of these are listed around the same price. It's around 30 to 35 million. So I wouldn't be against any of them. Maybe, I think Pavard for me is just about experience. He's the more experienced one out of the 2. You know, we look at our backline now. You look how experienced Rafael Varane is. He's the leader in that backline based on experience. So that's why I wouldn't mind Pavard and his versatility, ability to play as a right centre-back and a right-back when we shift to maybe a back 3 in attack and Dalot kind of tucks in as an inverted full-back. He can kind of play as a right centre-back quite comfortably. So for that reason, sorry guys, I apologize. But for that reason, I'm not too fussed on all of them. But this is my ranking, 1, 2, 3. You see how I've already ranked them in my opinion for Jacob Harry Maguire's alternatives. And I think for the price that we're getting for all 3 of them is actually not too bad for a centre-back in a world where Mason Mount went for 50, 60 million. I think that kind of says that all. So I want to hear what you guys actually think in terms of which centre-backs you guys are leaning towards. Even Mark Gay, who we've been linked to as well from Crystal Palace, English defender that plays in the Premier League. Obviously, I think we'll probably get Premier League tax on that, so he'll probably be quoted around 50 million probably. I'm not too keen on him, and I've seen people actually saying that they like him because he's Premier League proven. I still think that we need to move away from that kind of justification of Premier League proven players and that kind of stuff. So that's that. Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna do a football finances video. You were spitting. I might do that, but I need to properly edit it and have some serious graphics and serious research, all of that stuff. But I might do that video. Actually, you know what? The football season's starting, so maybe I don't know about that one. But I will be doing a live tomorrow about, you know, expectations for the season. Obviously, somebody actually asked me. I'm doing a vibe along, guys. Sorry, I'm doing a vibe along on Saturday morning around just before midday for England women versus Colombia in the quarterfinals. But I know when the second half of the England game starts, the Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest game will be starting. I don't care about Arsenal. Don't care, so I won't be doing a vibe along for that. But if you happen to be watching the Arsenal game, come through to my vibe along, because I'll be watching the England game and I'll probably be watching the Arsenal game at the same time. I just won't be doing, you know, scoreboard and a clock and all of that kind of stuff for the England game, for the Arsenal game, sorry. Todibo used to be at Barca. He was actually decent. I never understood why they let him go. I never understood, I think, why they let him go. He was very talented even when he was playing at Barca. And I think out of the three of them, let me come back to my graphic again. But I think out of the three of them, guys, I think Todibo's got the highest ceiling. I think Pavard is already approaching that peak, or maybe about to pass that peak of his career in the next like 2 years. Todibo, I think, has the highest ceiling in terms of ability and whatnot. So I think that's why I put Todibo over Pavard in that instance. I just want a centre back that's from Burkina Faso, guys. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna do a lot. That's gonna do a lot for the country and the continent. I'm just being sentimental, guys. Let me be honest now. I put him first because I'm being sentimental. Pavard is better. He got experience 100%. I think that's one thing that he has up on everybody else. Experience is the main thing that he has up on everybody else. Why not Bella Kotchap? I think Southampton are not looking to sell him. I don't think Southampton are actually looking to sell him this window. Southampton's being looted all over the place. Sorry to be rude, but you know, that's what happens when relegation happens. So I think if Lavia leaves and if Ward-Prowse leaves, I'll be shocked if they let Bella Kotchap leave. I'll be quite shocked. Should look at Diomande from Sporting and Antonio Silva from Benfica as well. It's funny that I actually read an article, I think it was 2 days ago, about Diomande at Sporting. I never had heard of him before. I just stumbled across that article. And then I was like, ooh, I should look into this guy. But I never actually got round to looking into him. So now Big Up Kristen has made me think I'm going to look into him after this game. Big Up Dead and Gone says, I'd prefer Todibo for ball playing ability and pace, since we'll be playing with a high line most of the time. That's true. I think pace is good, but I think recovery is most important. It's not just about how quick you are, but how you use that pace to recover is important. Because I'll give you an example. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, when he's running with the ball, he doesn't look that quick. But in recovery, when he's chasing a man down, he looks quick. He looks very quick. Another example, not a Manchester United player, Amrabat, when he's with the ball, running with the ball in attack, he doesn't look that quick. Even when he's going up the field without the ball, he doesn't look that quick. But his recovery pace is quite quick. When he's chasing a man down, when he's chasing a guy down, he looks quick. So I think that's another important thing. Where's the link for your fantasy? The link is in my bio, or if you want to join by the code, it's right here. You can join right there. Guys, I'm going to be honest, I give up with FPL like 5-6 weeks into the season. Then like in February, I come back to it, taking it very serious again. But by that time, I'm probably rock bottom of the league. I think last year, I finished like my highest place I finished in a table, I think was like 4th. And that was my family league. And I was so embarrassed because I was the one that told everybody to join the FPL, like the family league. and I ended up like finishing 4th or 5th, and I only finished above people that just stopped paying attention to their FPL. But this year, I'm taking it serious, guys. I'm taking it dead serious. I'm gonna win my own league, and when I win my own league, you guys cannot say to me it's fixed. Yeah, just remember I put effort into it. There's gonna be a period where I'm on holiday, so I might not have the time to check my FPL. So maybe there'll be a few weeks where people can catch me. But other than that, I'm taking it dead serious. Big up to Mike, says smash the like button please. People are enjoying the minions. You guys already know what it is. Road to 1k. Actually been growing quite a lot the last couple of weeks, and I really appreciate it. When I'll give you guys some perspective, guys. I think when the Women's World Cup was just starting, I was just about hitting 500 subs. I was a bit off it, and now I'm not that far off from 1,000, and also other stuff like monetization. I won't be too far off it soon, so I'll be able to bring you guys a lot more content. So make sure you guys smash the like button and get everybody to join, because when the season starts, and also not just the men's, but when the women's season starts as well, I'll be doing a lot of content for the women's team. I'll be bringing you a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. As you lot know, I get a lot more access with the women's team than the men's team, so I'll be bringing a lot more behind the scenes stuff. After the Women's World Cup, I will be doing a signed giveaway of a signed shirt, match worn, maybe not, I'm not too sure, but it'll be it'll be an England signed shirt by a player. Obviously, more details will come after the Women's World Cup finishes. And of course, FPL. Somebody just asked in the FPL thing, what's the prize for top spot? I told you, the prize for top spot, I will give away a PlayStation 5. No games, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not getting the games. But I'll get the console, and I'll do a giveaway. And the rules is that you just have to be subscribed to the channel and part of the FPL league. And that's what I'm saying, I'm going to win my FPL league, guys, because then I don't have to give away a PlayStation. Because I'm not going to give myself one. FPL, I think this is in reference to FPL, another season of Haaland as captain. Guys, let me tell you a quick story, about FPL. Let me tell you a quick story about my FPL season last year. I started the season with Manchester United so optimistic, right? We got battered. I took a bunch of United players out of my FPL team. When it came to that City game at Old Trafford, guys, I said, nah, City ain't beating us, nah. I was so confident. I didn't captain Haaland, and I didn't vice captain. No City player, I didn't captain them, anything. And I only had Haaland in my team. Everybody that I was in leagues with, people triple captained Haaland, people captained him, someone triple captained Foden. This was my delusion of believing in my club so much and not taking FPL seriously, that I lost out on a lot of people in that league, in my leagues, had 100+ points that week, because I genuinely believed in my club. I've learned my mistake. Now. Shipping, yes, I will pay for shipping, depending on where you are in the world. If I can ship to your country, I will ship to your country. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo, says, I'm going to smoke you, Mina, in FPL. That's not difficult. That's all I have to say. Big up Lewin, says, Erik Ten Hag moving like the Attitude Era. He's got that ruthless aggression. Big up Mina. Somebody called him, what was it, Hitman Hag. I saw I can't remember, I saw a tweet that said Hitman Hag, and I just started laughing, because that can kind of sum up what he's been doing. He's got hits on everybody in the club, bam, Harry Maguire, bam, David De Gea, bam, Fred, bam, maybe Scott McTominay. He's got hits out on everybody in the club. He's just pew, pew, pew. Proper hitman settings. I'd go to Debo, as the right side allows Erik Ten Hag to play his 3-1-6 formation he prefers. I agree. I think anybody on that right hand side, as long as they can comfortably play in that little back three that they play, that United will probably be looking to play with going forward, I think we'll be all right. Especially out of those three options. I think the fourth one of Mark Gay, not really keen on it. Not really keen on it. Big up Tabislaw, has been a minute. I haven't seen you in the chat in a long time. Hope you're good. Says, this Erik Ten Hag and the ruthlessness is so hyped, to be honest. I literally just read a comment about ruthlessness. This Erik Ten Hag and the ruthlessness is so hyped, to be honest. Ruthlessness would have been to get rid of Jacob Maguire last year. Ragnick would have done so. I don't really agree on that. I think you had to kind of come in, settle the boat, and then do what you have to do. I don't think you can come in, kick the door down, all guns blazing immediately. You just have to open the door, walk in, look around, see what needs to get rid of, and then when you can, get rid of it. And I think that's the I think Ragnick, The difference with Rangnick is that he was a bit... Rangnick, to me, I didn't like his, like, what he used to say. I feel like if... I don't know, I can't describe... I'm trying to find the right words to say it. I feel like a lot of the things Rangnick said was to save himself because he was having some crap results. And sometimes the results are on the players, but sometimes it's on the manager and the teams that he's picking, the players that he's picking. Ridiculous. So I think a lot of Rangnick, what he said was to save his own arse. I feel like a lot of it was true. Some of it was true about, you know, at least 10 players being needed and all of that kind of stuff, transfers, all of that stuff. But I feel like this Rangnick hype is sometimes a bit overhyped. And, you know, the fact that him and Erik ten Hag, I feel like Murto and Arnold they get credit, but I saw a report that Manchester United have changed a section in the stadium that's for commercial use, i.e. hospitality and all of that kind of stuff, and they've changed that into a lounge for players to prepare before the games, because they're no longer going to be staying at the Lowry Hotel before matches in Manchester. And apparently Ten Hag is not the first manager to request this. Oli requested it and Jose Mourinho requested it, and it was both turned down by the club because the commercialization of the club was more important, hospitality tickets, all of that kind of stuff. Money has to be making it. Money needs to be made. And then Erik ten Hag came in, and I don't know what it is, and I don't want to say it's his aura, but I think it's his personality, the way he conducts himself, the way he goes about things. Could be the Dutchness in him, because you know how Dutch people are they're very direct. And I don't think it's just Dutch people. I think it's a lot of European countries outside of the UK, Belgium, the Netherlands, France. I think some of them, like, they're very direct people. They don't beat around the bush. They don't sweeten you up to then tear you down. They just say things very bluntly. And I think a lot of that is what we see in Erik ten Hag, maybe behind the scenes. Because really and truly, the Ten Hag that we see in front of camera, yeah, we see him saying, oh, Harry Maguire's my captain. Then he goes and benches him. He says, oh, we're, working things out Cristiano Ronaldo. He's been, punished for, he's missing training for a week. He's been suspended for walking out of the Spurs game. Bam. Does that interview. They get rid of him. Who else did he... Anthony Elanga, who was basically coming through, if really and truly, he was coming through the first team as a result of Ralf Rangnick. Bam. Dumped him to the bench. Who else? I'm just trying to pick at examples of what I'm saying. That Erik ten Hag, sometimes we see him saying one thing in the media and doing another, and I feel like sometimes you have to play the media game. He's a media darling, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you have to say the right things at the right times, and I feel like with Ralf Rangnick, he was saying the right things at the wrong time. I will take you serious when you're telling me, the club sucks, they need 10 plus players, all of that kind of stuff, if you're getting results with the bare minimum that you have. But the fact that you got us knocked out of Champions League with that dumb lineup, the fact that there was how many lineups every game, that team, that United time that we watched with Rangnick, I think, in my opinion, was horrible under Ralf Rangnick. It was horrible 6 months. It was a horrible 6 months. And in my opinion, you take his comments more seriously when you're getting results. For example, Jose Mourinho, yeah, I felt bad sometimes for Jose Mourinho, because he finished second with the club and ended up getting some dead players in a transfer window. If he had come out and fired shots at Murto and Arnold and the club up and down, saying, the transfer policy is crap, we need 10 players, we need this, we need that, I would respect Jose Mourinho for that, because he got results with a good team, a decent team, and he's basically saying, I need to improve it. Ralf Rangnick, for me, in my opinion, he said a lot of the right things just at the wrong time. I think he just said it at the wrong time. And I feel like if he had... Yeah, I think someone says it here in the chat. Yeah, big up to Mike. Big up to Mike. Says Rangnick said the right things but in the wrong manner. I just think there's a place and time for what he used to say. And I feel like everyone talks about this ruthlessness with Erik ten Hag. It's calculated ruthlessness. It's calculated. He knows what he's doing. I feel like he knows what he's doing. And if you want to know more about Erik ten Hag, read his biography that came out in December. The December, I think, before he joined Manchester United. I think that's when it came out. So I would definitely say have a read of that. Big up to Ben, says Rangnick had the board working against him and reacted publicly. But then again, you ain't getting results. So how does it look on you? That's my whole point. How does it look on you when you're not getting results? you can blame it on the board. You can blame it on, the transfer policies, all of that stuff, having a dead January transfer window. You could say all of that, but I think a lot more people would like have rated him more if he, I feel like a lot more people would have rated him more if he got some good results, and then speak out about the club. And also, guys, talking about Ralph Rangnick, I feel like a lot more went down that we're just not aware of. Because he went 1 minute from being our interim manager to then becoming a DOF or whatever, advisor, whatever the hell he was meant to do. Then he's gone. And then he never wants to talk about Manchester United. I don't know if you guys see, whenever Austria have international break, when there's international break and Austria is playing, journalists always have a question or two to ask him about Manchester United, and he does not want to ask him. He doesn't want to answer anything. I feel like something happened between Ralph Rangnick and Erik ten Hag. I think also it's a clash of personalities, two very strong personalities, two very strong characteristics that just kind of clashed. I'm just curious. I'm very curious about that. It seems like a lot of you guys are Rangnick fans. I didn't even know that. Big Up Dead and Gone says Rangnick was doing verbal open heart surgery on the club. Erik ten Hag is just doing the open heart surgery on the team that Rangnick was talking about. Are you saying, to Big Up Dead and Gone, are you saying that Erik ten Hag is basically doing all the things that Ralph Rangnick basically put out the path for him to do? I'm not saying signing the exact same players, but the positions and all of that, because I think that's a bit harsh on Erik ten Hag. I think that's a bit harsh. I think Erik ten Hag is doing the open heart surgery on the team, but do you think that he would have done that even if Rangnick didn't say anything about that? I think he would have done it regardless. In my opinion. Big Up Tabislo, big Ralph Rangnick fan, says, what could Rangnick have done? He got stripped from everything. Arnold and Murto did him bad. I want to know what happened there, because I don't know what happened there. Ralph Rangnick must have an NDA on Man United where he can't speak about anything that happened for a period of time. The guy don't want to say anything. It's like nothing. I remember it was like January, was it? Was it January or March? I can't remember. It was a transfer window just before the season ended. And they asked him a question about something to do with Manchester United. Like every manager, he said, I'm here, I'm the coach of Austria, so ask me questions about Austria. Then they asked him another question about Man United, and he just looked at them like... He just literally looked at them like that in the press conference. So I don't know what happened there. Rangnick had a broken dressing room. Players weren't taking him seriously as he was a temporary option. I think the players were just like... I was going to say something, because you lot already know, like, I miss the vibes of the old team. You know, them videos, dancing, all of that nonsense. Eric Bailly, like, trying to fly kick Ibrahimovic. That was good times, yeah. But I think I'm more happy with the place that Manchester United are right now. It was just that we sucked back then. Like, we weren't that good back then, and that was just the only entertainment that we ever used to get. Big Up Dead and Gone says, if Rangnick hadn't put the club on blast, we would not have gotten Erik ten Hag. I agree. To think that there was other managers that we might have had. Rangnick was thrown in the deep end to steady the ship and wasn't backed at all. The man was finished. I'm just glad we have Erik ten Hag, as he's acting on a lot of what Rangnick said. But do you think he would have done it even like without? Like I think he would have done it even without Rangnick saying all that stuff. Big Up Ben says, and when the board refused to sanction signings in January, the players must have thought, my man is in the mud. Is he really our manager? I can't lie. The players were probably looking at Rangnick and thinking, "Raw, the board don't even rate you. Why should I rate you?" Like, that's what they're probably looking at him like. And it's sad because he came in what, November was it? December? We were still in the Champions League at that point. I think we were still in the FA Cup as well. And 1 or 2 signings in that window would have been nice. It would have been decent. Big up to Jason, says, big up Mina, how are you this fine sunny day? Honestly, I'm so happy to see the sun. If you guys live in the United Kingdom, you know what the weather's been like the last month and a bit. It's been raining, it's been miserable, it's been cold, it's been windy, but today there has been sun. There's going to be sun for the rest of the week, and it's because Premier League football is back. The Premier League is coming back, so the weather is acting right. We've had heat waves all across Europe, just not in England. Not in the United Kingdom. That's what we get for leaving the EU. We left the EU. What happened? Everybody in the EU gets sun, except for us. I mean, I wouldn't want the same level of sun that some of them are having. I'm seeing like fires and that happening. But I just want to wear my sunglasses, guys. I got a new pair of sunglasses. I haven't been able to wear them. Now I finally will be able to wear them. So I hope you're having a wonderful day, evening. Tomorrow the sun is going to be out and about. So make sure you guys are out and about, enjoying the sun, getting that vitamin D, getting the tan. Because to be honest, I do not know how long the sun is sticking around for. Guys, let me see. Let me check my app. Ooh. That's nice. That's nice. It looks like, I don't know if you guys can see, but it looks like the sun will be sticking around for the foreseeable future. And when I say sun, this is my perfect weather, guys. It's the 20s. It's 24, 25, 26. That's, to me, perfect weather. Anything 35, 30 plus is 30 is all right. 32, 33, 34, 35. I can't deal with that. Even though I'm originally from a very hot country, I can't deal with that. So it looks like the sun is going to be sticking around for the next couple weeks. And you know what, guys? It's funny because sometimes I accidentally slide on my phone to other countries that I have on here. And this is Dubai, and it's currently 30. It's currently 42 degrees. I wouldn't want that. But big up everyone. I hope you guys all enjoy the sun and the weather for the rest of the week, because I definitely will be. Tomorrow I'll be back probably with a final Premier League predictions or expectations, I would say, for Manchester United. And we could talk about other clubs, but you know me, guys. I don't really like to talk about other clubs. I just like to focus on my own club. So I'm going to talk about Manchester United's expectations for the season. Friday we'll be doing a stream, as always, Friday Night Lights, to talk about hopefully what will be a new signing that we'll probably be having in the door, and any other news that comes about in the next couple of days. I was gonna say I'll do a vibe along, but I'm not gonna do a vibe along for Manchester City versus Burnley, because I'll just be sitting there in my hater bag ready to hate on Manchester City. But I'll be back for a vibe along on Saturday midday, just before midday, for England versus Colombia quarterfinals. And of course I'll do a preview to the Wolves game on Sunday, and then Sunday Manchester United play. I won't be doing a vibe along here, but you can probably catch it on United View. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for sticking around, and always lovely to hear you guys' opinions. Big up Lil Yo-Yo says, Mina, before you go, make a prediction on when we sign Amrabat. I will say my prediction is probably going to be 13-ish days from now, 14, 15 days. Whenever that is. What's that? End of the month, basically. We will have Amrabat in a United shirt before the Arsenal fixture. I will say that. We'll have that. I think now it seems like our priority is likely to be a centre-back signing. The quicker Van der Beek gets out the door, and the quicker that Fred gets out of the door, it will happen. Tabislaw says, don't believe Mina. It's just because I said that Qatar were going to be the new owners before Eid, but I didn't say what Eid. It could be next year's Eid. It could be the Eid after that. It could be the Eid in like 3 years' time. I didn't specify what Eid it would be. I just said Qatar will be Manchester United owners by Eid. So you should just not have believed me. You shouldn't have believed me. But big up everyone, as always. Thank you guys for sticking around for this long. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys again, as always, tomorrow. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Oh, come on. I was leaving on a high, and then Ben's just said Mina's sauce is looking kind of KG-ish. Guys, you lot already know the settings. I'm a tier 3. I will be tier 1 in due time, man. Big up, everyone. Until next time, guys, it's your girl, Mina.